Heyo, and what is up, gang? Thank you so much for joining us here again on the channel today for our official SmackDown Live review for this Tuesday, September the 5th, 2017. SmackDown Live was a very entertaining show, but what it did not have very much of was wrestling, and they made a couple of very questionable decisions, and we are here to talk about all of that. Right here and right now, on the newest, fastest rising podcast in all of YouTube, the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. Let's do this.
The Sledgehammer Wrestling Show.
Alright, wrestling fans, thank you so much for joining us here today for another edition of our SmackDown Live review. My name is Nick Nightmare. This, with me as always, is Blue, the World Heavyweight Champion of Microphones, the Snowball Microphone. And we are here to talk about SmackDown Live. SmackDown Live, right on the onset, I'm going to go right out and say it was not a bad show. It was a good show. It was a good show. All right, it was entertaining. I found myself laughing a couple of times, but as always with the WWE, I found myself scratching my head at some of the decisions these guys make. I just don't understand certain booking decisions as I fix my phenomenal hat right here. And let's get started with this whole thing. The show started off, we had Carmella in the ring. Obviously, we were going to get Carmella versus Natalya tonight, so we were setting up for that match. James Ellsworth starts talking some shit, and then Kevin Owens' music would hit, and Kevin Owens would come out. He decides he's going to input himself as the referee again. He starts to get all physical and to start threatening the referee. You're going to give me that shirt? You're going to give me that shirt? Just give it to me. I'm going to do it. And then Shane McMahon would come out. Words would be spoken. Kevin Owens would mention Shane McMahon's children. At the point, Shane warned him to not do so again. And of course, Kevin Owens, being the prick that he is going to get another jab in at the family. And it was pretty personal stuff. It was a very good promo. Kevin Owens going a little overboard, saying that perhaps the family of the McMahons would have been better off if Shane McMahon had not survived his recent helicopter crash. And I thought that was a little, wound cutting deep. And of course he said your father, would be better off, your wife would be better off, and your kids would be better off. To which Shane McMahon goes off, of course, I'm a dad, I get it, you're gonna go off. You don't want anybody saying anything at all about your children. You could say whatever you want, they're yours. You can't say it about mine. You get that. If you're a parent, you understand. Thinking about it and hearing Kevin Owens say it himself, I wanted to punch him in the mouth for Shane McMahon. Be like, oh, come on, dude, bro. He asked you not to say that. You should have more respect for a person than to bring their family in. But this is pro wrestling, and this is what it's all about, and it was a very, very good segment. Shane McMahon wildly comes to blows with Kevin Owens, goes out to the outside, tackles him over the announce table. Nobody was able to rein Shane McMahon back in except for the general manager, Daniel Bryan, who was like, Shane, what are you doing, man? What are you doing, man? I don't have any complaints. I just thought it was pretty funny. And the smoke would clear. They would get Shane out of the ringside area. They would help Kevin Owens to the back. We would come back and Owens would be in the back, pissed off. Beyond all recognition. Obviously so. He just got his ass kicked by the commissioner. And Daniel Bryan is there trying to offer his apology. And Kevin Owens, in true, beautiful heel fashion, starts threatening to sue. He's going to own the WWE. He's going to sue every member of the McMahon family. And all I could hear in my head is, sue Owens, sue. Sue Owens, sue. That's just me being a goofball. But that's what I thought. It would be a great shirt for him to walk around wearing, since he likes to make goofball, funny, somewhat tongue-in-cheek shirts. And Sue Owens Sue would be a great fucking shirt for him right now, and it would probably get over pretty big. Daniel Bryan promising to try to get some justice for him, but it may be too late. We would then return to the ring to actually have the Natalya versus Carmella match, to which I was pleasantly surprised. This match was actually very good. Both of these girls put on a very good match. They told a good story, and then just as it looked like Carmella was going to have the advantage and she was about to go for a pinfall on Natalya, James Ellsworth jumps the gun, hits the apron, and gets ready to throw her the Money in the Bank to cash it in. Obviously, her plan was to pin Natalya and then immediately pin her again once she got her incapacitated to that point to cash in the Money in the Bank. Ellsworth blew it again, and Carmella would get easily rolled up for a victory for Natalya, remaining the women's champion, and then it would get good, because Carmella would go off on the Chinless Wonder, pretty much calling him every bad thing you could possibly say. She called him James Ellsworthless, which is a word we use a lot for him here in the YouTube community. A lot of us call him that, and makes you wonder if they're actually listening to some of us and they're stealing from us some of the stuff that we use here. But nonetheless, it was a great promo for her. I laughed out loud through most of it, and it was great to see that they were finally moving past this fucking Ellsworth thing, because I was enjoying Carmella without him. I was finally getting a chance to absorb her character, and she was growing on me. And then they stuck him back with her, and I just didn't want to see them anymore. And she just verbally degraded him, told him pretty much that this was over, we are done. And James Ellsworth would sit in the ring looking like a sad little turtle, and Carmella would leave him there. And we will have more on that later on, surprisingly enough. This next segment is another one of these, well, actually is the first one of these head scratchers that I was talking about. Dolph Ziggler's re-debut. This was the biggest waste of time I've ever seen on a show. It has never been more apparent to me that somebody is leaving ever. I mean, this is Damien Sandow territory. He came out tonight and did what, 2, maybe 3 gimmicks? And did Naomi's entrance. He came out with a beautiful girl, and he's like, is this what you want? Is this what it takes to get over? Blah, blah, blah. More of this bullshit. I don't care. I don't care. And then it doesn't even end up with him in the ring, so I don't care. This apparently is leading up to some big match with Bobby Roode, in which case he is going to have this match, put over the Glorious One, and then be gone, and hopefully resurface in Ring of Honor or New Japan. This was fucking ridiculous, and I hated every minute of it. It was just the biggest waste of time. Absolutely fucking worthless is Dolph Ziggler on SmackDown Live, and if this is the best they got for him, then he's got to run out the door. Run, Dolph, run, because they don't know what to do with you, bro. That's never been made more clear than tonight. Unless they're just purposely trying to embarrass him and just make him look like a complete fucking idiot on his way out before he drops to the mat and does the honors for Bobby Roode. Next after this would be another fucking baffling decision-making match here between Aiden English and Sami Zayn, which was over in about 2 minutes, maybe. And Aiden English wins with a flash roll-up again. And then he wants to go on and start fucking singing his song, and then Sami goes to chase him out. And the best part of the thing is when he was starting to sing, "No, please don't," and then he fucking ran away. Other than that, this is fucking pathetic. Why do they not see any value in Sami Zayn? They look at him as that old school jobber type that you used to see wrestle the bad guy. You would see like a heel Randy Savage wrestle like a fucking Barry Horowitz. That's who Sami Zayn is. Sami Zayn is Barry Horowitz to the WWE creative. Pats himself on the back. He's a goofball. He's a little lovable loser. Not a world champion. And they're going to use him to put over guys like Baron Corbin and Aiden English and Bobby Roode. And he's going to be a perennial loser. And the best thing that Sami Zayn could do is ask to go home to NXT, where he is beloved, where he is booked strongly, where he is looked upon as a cornerstone of the brand. Instead, he's on SmackDown Live, losing to everybody, being put in goofball backstage segments to be made to look like a fucking nerd. It's unfortunate, and I don't like the direction that it's going at all. Sami Zayn needs to be next in line. Remember back when we were all going, oh my god, I hope Sami Zayn goes to SmackDown. Sami Zayn needs to go to SmackDown. It's almost like this was his punishment because he was so vocal about it. You want to go to SmackDown? Here, go to SmackDown, and now we're going to make you even worse. What the fuck, man? We get the Usos and the New Day in a segment backstage for the New Day to sell some new fucking boxer shorts and talk to Daniel Bryan and receive news about the stipulation for their upcoming tag team match for the World Tag Team titles of SmackDown at Sin City SmackDown next Tuesday. Useless segment. Nothing that overly entertaining here, but the Usos challenge the New Day to a Sin City street fight, so that should be pretty interesting. Most interesting part of this segment is Daniel Bryan receiving a phone call from Vince McMahon. And we're going to get into that right now. Daniel Bryan goes out to the ring to address this phone call from the boss. He calls out Shane McMahon, and we all, or any one of us with a brain anyway, saw the writing on the wall here, and Shane McMahon had been indefinitely suspended. The time for apologies is over. He stepped over the line, and there are ramifications, and apparently Vince is going to also be at the show Sin City SmackDown next Tuesday. For what? I don't fucking know. Why we need him to be there and make a ruling or a judgment or anything? Unnecessary. 70 years old, stay the fuck backstage and continue to produce the garbage you produce. Don't come out and then and say what? What are you going to do? Berate Shane? You're going to be mad at Shane for touching the talent, for putting the family in this situation? You're going to try to get this angle over? We don't need Vince McMahon to further the angle between Kevin Owens and Shane McMahon. I think it's going just fine as it is. I had no interest in it when I first heard about it. I didn't want to see it because Shane McMahon's not a wrestler. But the work that they've been putting in slowly throughout the last few weeks, going into before SummerSlam, has given this feud life. It's given it something brewing underneath. Much like Rollins and Ambrose on Raw, we have Owens and McMahon on SmackDown. The only real thing worth our time to watch, and the only interesting thing to see where it's going. We don't need Vince to come and make it better. Better for who? Better for you because you get your old face on TV? It's bad enough you're torturing us with what's going on inside your head. You have to come back out and be part of the show again. I don't need to see Vince McMahon anymore. I'm too mad at him for what the fuck he's doing to everybody to have to see his face. Baron Corbin versus Ty Dillinger. Why? Although I'm not going to complain too hard on this, this was a good match for Dillinger. Both of these guys looked very good. Even Baron Corbin looked a little sharp tonight. I don't like the use of AJ Styles on commentary. I don't understand, and I've said this before, why it's become a daily thing. It's not even like they choose a show. It's now happening on both shows every single fucking week. Guest announce team, or a surprise announcer, fucking Alexa Bliss, or Rollins and Ambrose, or sometimes both on Monday Night Raw. And then we come to SmackDown and we got AJ Styles on commentary. It's not special if you do it all the time, guys. Can we stop with the fucking superstar commentary? All it does is clutter the announce booth. At least JBL was not there to throw the conversation really off. And one of the things that probably made SmackDown feel so good tonight and so entertaining was the arrival of Corey Graves to that announce desk. I didn't want a third man on the announce team, but I love The dynamic between Graves and Byron Saxton, and Graves and Phillips were fantastic on NXT, so their grouping works. And it did make the show better, which is all you could ask for. The removal of JBL and the addition of Corey Graves, definitely a big, big up for SmackDown just in its initial offering here. This was a very hard-hitting fight between the two of them, but Ty Dillinger would get the loss, of course, and Baron Corbin would hit the end of days for the win, prompting AJ Styles to, after this match, hunt down Ty Dillinger in the back because he's calling Baron Corbin a cheap shot artist. He caught AJ Styles with a cheap shot. He caught Ty Dillinger with a cheap shot last week. He caught him again with him this week. And it's not fair. And the U.S. Open Challenge is open next week. But it's open only for Ty Dillinger. And AJ Styles wants to give us the match that we want to see, which is one-on-one AJ versus Ty for the U.S. title. And I have a sneaky suspicion that Baron Corbin's going to fuck everything up for us. So let's not get too excited. Don't expect to see Ty Dillinger winning the U.S. title. I won't expect it because that's what I want to happen. Not that I want AJ to lose, but he deserves to be in the World Heavyweight Championship picture. And Ty Dillinger and Baron Corbin should be the program for the U.S. title. That would be more fitting. And you let Ty Dillinger be the good guy. U.S. Open Challenge still. Make that a part of the United States Championship and leave it as a never-ending rule. Ty Dillinger takes over as the babyface champion, and you have all these heels trying to take it from him, and he could be like a modern-day Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. He's that talented, he could pull that off, man, until you have somebody else come later on, and maybe you find his perfect opponent, and you make that be the rivalry, and you make that be the guy to take it from him. Until then, that's what I would do, but I think AJ Styles is going to remain the United States Champion after this special SmackDown. Nothing's really going to change. Another head-scratcher of a moment happens after this as Carmella and James Ellsworth would be back on TV again. I don't understand why we're using them again and wasting more time again, as we have only had 3 wrestling matches on this night so far, and we are already pretty much at the hour-and-a-half mark here. And none of those matches really went over 10 minutes. We only had 4 matches in total, and the only match to go even near 10 minutes was the main event, which we're going to get to in a second. But Carmella, after running down James Ellsworth and telling him we're through in the back, James Ellsworth finds her and begging her please for her forgiveness, this and that. And then Carmella kisses this schmuck, and then she smacks him in the face. Smacks the fucking chin right back on him. Holy shit. Why did they just ruin this? Carmella had the promo of her life. She left him standing like a little puddle of mud in the ring. And now you're going to do this and string him along and take him back and kiss him and smack him. And what does it mean? Get her away from this guy. And get him on 205 Live. Put him with fucking Enzo and the rest of the misfit toys that you don't know what to do with, that don't appeal to your creative sensibilities on the main roster, and just get them the fuck out of here. Why he even is signed with the company, like she said, I'll never know. I understand in the heat of the moment you gave him a little contract because he got over with Braun Strowman getting his ass beat. Should be over by now. He shouldn't be a fucking lackey for anybody. Maybe one of the guys. But to be with one of these girls, this angle has been worn out way long ago. It's been way past its welcome. And it's got to go. Finally on this night, the main event, Shinsuke Nakamura versus Randy Orton. Now, if you watched my review last week, you know I said if Randy Orton won this thing, I was going to go off. Because Randy Orton, is Randy Orton, and he don't need to be in world title matches anymore, and he's in that upper echelon where he should be putting over talent, not taking from the talent. But in this particular scenario, I just don't understand, because the winner of this match was going to get a match with Jinder Mahal for the championship in the Hell in a Cell. If you take both rivalries, Orton and Jinder and Shinsuke and Jinder, and put them side by side, There's only one of those two rivalries that would warrant being held inside a Hell in a Cell. And it would be the one that was just last taken place during a Punjabi prison. That would be the next logical step up. But now you're just fast-forwarding Shinsuke and Jinder to Hell in a Cell, even though they've had barely any interaction. Nothing is special anymore. They're just doing it for the sake of doing it. And although I am glad that Shinsuke Nakamura did not suffer a loss here, I feel like a disqualification or something should have been put into play, because Hell in a Cell between these two makes no sense. There's no real bitter animosity between them. And what are you going to start this shit? Oh, well, the Singh brothers can't get in. That doesn't mean shit. How many Hell in a Cell matches have we seen where they've still gotten in? The cage gets raised, or they come out from under the apron, or they come right out and up through the ring. Or they climb the top and come down from the top. We've seen it done a million ways. You can't tell me the Hell in a Cell is going to keep anybody out. So if that's the reasoning behind it, it makes no fucking sense. That's what the purpose of the prison was supposed to be. Oh, nobody is going to be able to interfere in this match. And then we had 3 fucking people interfere in this match. We're going to do this, go down the same fucking road here with Hell in a Cell. Shinsuke Nakamura and Randy Orton had a very good match. Shinsuke would counter the RKO twice in this match. Nail Randy Orton with the Kinshasa. 1, 2, 3. Shinsuke Nakamura goes on to fight Jinder Mahal, the World Heavyweight Champion, at Hell in a Cell. And I fully expect Shinsuke Nakamura to finally get the title. There would be no reason for them to do this again. If Shinsuke Nakamura does not come out of Hell in a Cell with the WWE Championship, he's got to leave. He's got to leave. They are going to effectively ruin all of the mystique. Any little bit left that's still in there for that character will be gone. It will fucking vanish. And Shinsuke Nakamura will be worthless. He'll be the guy that can't beat Jinder Mahal. Ugh, I hate it. I hate it so much. Anyway, you guys, that was fucking SmackDown Live tonight. Very entertaining. Good show. They had a highlight package on Bobby Roode. Fucking fine. You know, we don't need to really see him every single week competing. That's better off if they do that. Show started off with a pretty good interview segment between, not interview segment, but dueling promos with Randy Orton and Shinsuke Nakamura. That wasn't bad. I like that. It makes me feel like I did back in the day. Like that's a better way to get across the product. Like to introduce the match, you know, you say what you gotta say, you're getting to know the characters, you set them up, you see Shinsuke in the back doing his little warm-up thing, and this is at the beginning of the show, so you get hyped. Get hyped for the last match. Not a bad show, but definitely some very, very bad decisions made on this one. Thank you so much. That is going to do it. Don't forget to check out everything else on the channel. We got the Mae Young Classic Episode 7 review coming to you probably tomorrow, if I get out of work early enough. If not, expect it before the end of this week. We will have all of the Mae Young stuff wrapped up before September 12th. I know you guys like it. It's been one of the hottest videos on the channel. It's been doing great. We're going to keep the Mae Young Classic coverage rolling down the line to you guys, and we will get it to you as soon as we finish this damn tournament, because I had to go back to work. The tournament started at the end of my vacation, of course, so I couldn't get everything done the way I did originally have planned. But it's coming nonetheless. And until then, you could wet your whistle with everything else I have. Episode 4, Episode 5 reviews, 1 and 2. We got the previews. We got last week's Raw and SmackDown reviews. I got my story about The Undertaker's impending return and how I would go about doing it, which would be the best way to do it, 100%. All that and so much more right here on the channel, and I welcome you all to check it all out. My name is Nick Nightmare. This is Blue, the world heavyweight champion of microphones, the Snowball microphone himself. And thank you guys for watching. And we are out of here. And we will see you next time, right here on the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. Rock and roll.